Episode 4. God rested, so why don't you? Title: The Sabbath predates sin, Jews, and Moses. You have no excuse. Hebrews 4:4, KJV. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and God did rest the seventh day from all his works. Hebrews 4:9. There remaineth therefore a rest, Sabbath-keeping to the people of God. Before there was sin, before there was a Jew, before there was even a 10 Commandments tablet, God himself rested. He wasn't tired, he wasn't weak. He was showing humanity the divine rhythm of life, 6 days of labor, 1 day of holy rest, and Hebrews 4 confirms it. The writer reaches all the way back to Genesis chapter 2:2-3 to remind believers in the new covenant that God himself rested on the seventh day. Now, here's the knockout punch. Hebrews was written decades after Christ's death and resurrection, yet it still points to the literal seventh-day Sabbath as the foundation of rest for God's people. There remaineth therefore a Sabbath-keeping to the people of God. Hebrews 4:9. Let's dismantle more lies from those who despise this truth. Lie number 10. The Sabbath was given only to Israel at Mount Sinai. Truth. The Sabbath was blessed and sanctified at creation. And on the seventh day God ended his work, and he rested. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it. Genesis 2:2-3. That was in Eden, before Abraham, before Moses, before there was a Jew. God didn't just rest. He blessed the seventh day. He set it apart. He sanctified it. That makes it holy. This was never a Jewish thing. It was a creation ordinance, just like marriage, work, and fruit-bearing trees. If you claim to follow the God of creation, then you follow his rest day too. Lie number 11. The 10 Commandments were only temporary. Truth. That's blasphemy. The 10 Commandments are not Moses' ideas. They are God's eternal law. Written by God's finger, Exodus 31:18. Spoken by God's voice, Exodus 20:1. Placed inside the Ark of the Covenant, described by Paul as holy, just, and good, Romans 7:12, and Jesus said, "Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law," Matthew 5:18. Heaven and earth are still here, so is the Sabbath. Lie number 12. The Sabbath was only a shadow. Truth. The Sabbath existed before sin. Shadows are types that point forward to redemption, like sacrifices, feasts, and rituals. The Sabbath doesn't point forward, it points backward to creation. Hebrews 4 reinforces that. Verse 4 quotes Genesis. Verse 10 says we cease from our works, as God did from his. Verse 9 says this still remains. That's not a shadow. That's a command rooted in the beginning of time. Lie number 13. God doesn't care which day I keep, as long as I rest. Truth. That's like saying God doesn't care which God you worship, as long as you worship. God specifically blessed 1 day, not 7. He didn't say, remember a Sabbath day. He said, remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. Exodus 20:8. You can't make a day holy. Only God can do that. And the day he made holy was the seventh. Conclusion. God rested. God sanctified the Sabbath. Hebrews 4 reminds you of it. And Hebrews 4:9 says it still remains. So if God rested, who are you to say you don't need to?